Yes, hello guys, welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be giving you tips on how to pass the FIFA Gen exam. But first, we are going to look into details why many people fail, and also I'll give you reasons for that, and then you can take it from there and start to study and help yourself to have a good grade. So we all know the exam is a quite tough exam, and a lot of people that write the exam most of the time don't get the grades they want, because we know it's 75% pass rate and 75%. So there's not too much room to make mistakes. So let's take, for example, if there are 20 questions, which they are, you must pass 15. And I always say, in those 15 that you pass, you must pass everything complete. So I give an example to what I mean. Let's take, for example, if you have a question and it's made up of, because the question is made of multiple choice, and it's made up of 4 answers, and there are 3 answer right, and you have 2 right, they cannot even give you a 0.5 marks on that, or so everything is completely fail if you fail just a single answer to the remaining 2 answers you have to get. Hope I explained myself clear. So it means in a particular question you have to have it all to be able to pass that question. So that even makes the exam more tougher. So another thing that makes the exam more tougher is also time management. So many people who prepare the exam don't prepare actually with, let's say, using the mock questions in the exam in the FIFA portal, trying to set themselves to 1 hour that the exam is going to be set on. So that's another thing that I noticed. And then another thing is people just answer past questions created by people that are not actually exam oriented. So a lot of people that I try to help on these things I say, send me your past questions you have been using. Those are just basic, easy past questions that the answers are too straight. But the exam comes with different situations, different past questions that require technical know-how. It requires a certain understanding of the questions, because there's one thing in the exam is studying for the exam is one thing, and also going to the exam and interpreting the question is another thing. So you have to learn how to interpret the question. So those people teaching people how to pass the exam, the first thing is also they have to teach them how to interpret that question, because the questions are not just straightforward. They might ask you a question that involve RSTP, but in that RSTP that the question involves, that is asked, it's actually also relates to life situations. So they may take a question like, let me give an example. Let me just create a scenario in my head. They may take a question that that a client, that a 17-year-old wants to play football in Europe, and then he moves to South America. From South America, he moved to North America before coming to Europe to play football. And they asked a question that is he allowed to move to South America or North America to play football, for example. And inside all those scenarios that they are asking, I'm just trying to create a scenario in my head. All those scenarios, if they said a 17 years old moved to Europe to play football from Africa or Asia, you already know that first, that question, the answer, the question, a 17 years old cannot first move to Euros to play football, because you have to be 18 to move to Euros to play football. You have to know that that the rules always stands that it's only when you are 16 in Europe that you can sign a professional contract. But if you're a minor, you don't move to Europe at 17 to play football or sign a professional contract. So you see that this kind of question can be tricked to ask you. Then they are going to give you answers that just to trick you. So this is how the exam format can be set. I'm just trying to play a scenario there, so you understand what I mean. So when you are also answering past questions, you have to be prepared for these situations, and also these kind of challenges are being set in just 1 hour. So which means you must have answered a lot of questions that involve this kind of scenario, deal with them, handle them then and try to adapt to the situation. If not, when you move into the exam hall, you're going to be like, oh, I didn't expect that. I expected what I saw on the mock question, just easy questions like how long is the representative agreement between an agent and a player. Of course, those kind of can come, but they are also rare, which you are just going to look for the answers and say, okay, the maximum duration of representative agreement is 2 years. And then they ask you probably what are the things that involve a representative agreement. What are the things, the details in a representative agreement? The player's signature, the player's age, and the agent's. The player's name and the agent's name. All those basic things that are quite easy, which the exam doesn't always pan out to be like that. So these are the things that you have to be very aware of, that when you're studying for the exam, you have to put this into perspective. So I will just touch on one of few things before I go, because this was just an update. I will just touch on one of few things that, before I go on those preparing for the exam. That first, yes, of course, the exam, as I said in my previous video, the exam is 40% like FIFA agent regulation. And that 40% is like, it's going to be asking what you as an agent can do to represent a player, those kind of things. It's going to be 40% on that, because you are writing to become an agent, so you have to know all the rules and regulations. Then 30% is going to be RSTP. RSTP is like involve more of transfers, third parties, all those things. I think a lot of things involve. So 30% of questions can come from there, or usually come from there. Then the few bits of questions can be coming from Code of Ethics, FIFA statutes, which made up of definitions, then other parts. So it's really important to know this, how the exam is set. But not only that, also I always feel you can be lucky to pass the exam actually by also reading by yourself. To be honest, you can be lucky, but that is 1 in maybe 20. You can be lucky. And there are people who have passed the exams like that. But most people really pass the exams which they consider this to become a career for them, actually do research, actually join study groups. So that, because the exam is the study material is quite bulky, you're not really going to read all those. So you benefit from maybe a study coach or a study mentor, someone that gives you that, okay, a structural approach to prepare for the exam. So the exam is quite crystal clear that it's going to be on a certain structure. And if you try to stick to a certain study format, you can get it right easily. So actually, I also had to study with a structure to be able to pass the exam when I passed the exam. So that's why I'm saying that it requires certain structure. And also, if you want to really become an agent, you don't want to be relying on luck. Like, okay, I'm just going to move into the exam room. If my question turn up to be easy questions, I write and pass. If they turn up to be difficult, then I come back the next year. And so this time, or this moment, is also challenging, because the exam before was set twice a year. Now FIFA has changed the rule. The rule is becoming, you have to write once a year. So if you are preparing to become an agent and you think you are going to be waiting after 1 year to be writing the exam regularly, then that's quite hard, or maybe you're not prepared. So what I would say is focus to write the exam and be very careful. Also get a group or get someone that can really guide you through, because it's worth it. As I always say, to become an agent, if you can navigate the industry and break through, then it's quite a lucrative job to do, because you tend to travel to scout and watch players at best stadium and get paid for that. Not many people have this kind of job, to be honest. And if you tend to have that, but the first stage is by passing the exam, which is the most important. Then before the next, you can start building on how to navigate the industry by meeting sporting directors and a lot of people that can help you also grow your network in the industry. So, but anyways, this video was not meant to be a long video. This was just to give you some tips on how to focus to write the exam. As I said, join study group, take past questions, and also yes, do this, and it's going to help you. But what I also want to give you a note I want to give you guys today also, or for those listening to this video. If you come across this video, then you are the lucky one. I have to say that. Okay, I'll be hosting, because I was doing some study group with some people, and it's quite over now. So I'll be hosting a one-to-one, so lectures, I mean, like one-to-one course with most people. So I'm starting already next week with the people I've been in contact with them. So this is how it goes. So let's take, for example, if you're studying, because the exam is coming quick and fast, 8th of June, we can organize, let's say, 1 or 2 days revision classes, just to go through study points, and to make sure that I give you also tips on what to study, so that you can just keep studying from what you have been doing. Just tips on that. Let's take, for example, structural approach, how you structure yourself on your reading, and then we do some past question, we answer also, well, we go through generally the exam, how the exam is going to be set, and also answering question, but in a revision mode, and also give you tips on when this question is asked, how you go, all those things. So this is a one-to-one that I will start with people regularly. Now I've already had some names that I will start with them already from Monday. Then we do that. So if you come across this video, then you want that, then contact me. Then we can do that at a cheap offer for you. Not really expensive for now, because I'm starting this offer now. So we will have the first 5 people. We'll have some bonuses for that, because I'm testing also this offer. I'm starting it, and I'm starting already with some few people that I have been in contact with them. So get to join so that you can pass your exam, which is the most important thing. It's not even it's most important thing. And when you pass the exam also, it's quite a privilege for me that I can help you pass the exam, because the reality is, when you help someone pass an exam or certain things like that, which is going to change their career, also you're proud that you help someone cross the line. So anyways, my email, it's in the description, and my LinkedIn is in the description. Leave me a message also about this, then we go from there. So see you tomorrow, and talk to you very soon. Cheers.